You find that the people embrace that one easily. That when it comes to us or spiritual leaders, somehow they people shy. They they run away.
Yeah, okay.
They don't want something to do with they think that now it is spiritual. Like, for example, you can come out with an idea that just telling people the importance of voting, telling people that our government needs to be accountable in matters of let's say governance, let's say. But you will find that at times, I don't know how the society have been wired, and that we can also find it today. They will say that, no, you people keep to the pulpit. Leave politics to politicians. So I believe that it is time now that we should come strongly as spiritual leaders to make them know that we are also stakeholders, and we have also
following and
and we have got also a mandate, even to things to do with civic engagement.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are going to take a commercial break and back in a few. Keeping it Siasa Cafe on Aditech TV and Naiwave Studios. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome to Warrior Within Show, where we embark on a journey of finding the strength within us all, exploring the battles, the triumphs, and the resilient warriors in the society. Join us as we are on a journey to empower, to break stigma, to heal, and find the warrior within. I'm your host, Winda.
Welcome back to Siasa Cafe after our commercial break, and we'll continue the conversation. That is the role of religious leaders in instilling democratic institutions. And we'll still have our introduction of our guests for purposes of those viewers who might not have joined us earlier on. Karibuni sana, and kindly reintroduce yourselves again.
I'm Pastor Nation Owaga Othuro of the Ministry of Reconciliation. We are located here in Kabiria, Dagoretti South.
All right, Karibu.
Yeah, Dr. Bishop Isaac Idambo, the lead pastor of Gate of Holiness Worship Sunday Church in Nairobi, and also the director of Daraja Uongozi Training Institute. We are here in Ngando, just off Ngong Road.
All right. And I'll just pick up at Daraja Uongozi Institute.
Yes.
Daktari, what do you do over there, and how many lives have you been able to impact over there?
The numbering goes beyond 1,000 plus. Daraja Uongozi is an institution that gives skills to young men and also young people. We also look into the vulnerability of mothers or young mothers, whereby we are able to aid them into educational program. So we are known by the government of Kenya. TVET knows that we are there. We are also in collaboration with Angaza Empowerment Training Institute, and we are also with Ezesha Plus Kenya.
All right.
Those are institutions that we cooperate with in terms of training.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving to our second segment, and we're going to look at church and politics at play. And you've realized that in the last general election, I was a little bit observant. Some of the churches gave out their spaces for political meetings. From where you sit, do you think somehow it contravenes the principles of the church as a body, or what do you make of it, Bishop?
We serve community, and the leaders that come during our services.
Not really service when you
When
rent your
venue,
place.
yeah, when we rent the places,
Yes.
it is also serving the community. So on my side, I don't see any problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any problem because the people that will be addressed are people from the community. The leader that is addressing them, he is from the community. So the church, for its proper running, it needs to serve the community.
And Bishop, just sticking there,
Yes.
what about a scenario whereby, yes, there is a meeting that you rented out your place for a meeting,
Yeah.
and then chaos erupts, and people are fighting, probably in the process, because you know how chaotic political, grouping sometimes can be. Don't you think it also creates some sense of some image to your church, assuming such kind of chaos erupts and things goes mayhem?
It is only is exactly what you have spoken from the start. The rot that is in the community can at times override the expectation of the meeting. And that one does not stop us as a church to give out a place whereby communication about the rights, the justice of the citizens should be given. Because you can easily agree that the arenas for serving even community are getting fewer. So the only places that are remaining are what? Are churches. So when we shut the door, we are shutting the door with the fear, and that should not be the concept, that something shall erupt. Eruption shall be dealt with. But the goodwill of that particular meeting should be maintained.
So do you sometimes set parameters like rules, regulations when such kind of meetings happen?
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. When you come to us for the venue, we shall tell you our expectations and also the responsibilities you shall cater in case of. Because the intent of the meeting is to pass information, not to bring not to be a war zone. So those are there. And that's why they should be signing an agreement of signing that this is what you go in case of this and this, so that you are also clean. You are clean on that.
All right.
Yeah.
Pastor, what are your thoughts on this?
Can you come up again?
What are your thoughts on renting out probably your place of worship, which is perceived to be holy, for maybe political meetings and other meetings that is not church oriented?
You see, it is said that serving God is serving humanity. And when we serve God completely, I'm going to use this example. So God is up, so it is vertical.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. So we serve God, and by also serving that same God, we ought to go horizontal, meaning that man and man. So we serve God, and as we serve people, we serve God. So we cannot isolate the society, or we cannot isolate that these are politicians, whereas at times we rent these places even for people to do wedding. And these same politicians, they also do weddings. So why?
But Pastor, wedding is a Christian, it's a religious ceremony.
Yes.
Why would you compare it to a political meeting?
Okay.
It is just a meeting like any other meetings. It's only that this one is a wedding and this one is what? Is a political meeting. It's a meeting. It's a meeting.
It's a meeting.
So my pastor here is right that we cannot separate the two. Because it is about the health of the community. A wedding is a health for the community. The political side is a health for the community. So we cannot bisect them and say no to this one and yes to this one. But as we have said, sir, we need rules to govern such kind of meetings. Yeah, exactly. They should not just be in-out meetings. They should have the protocol observed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Pastor Nation,
Yes.
we've seen in the recent past, even recently, a scenario whereby religious leaders are giving politicians a platform in the pulpit to be able to maybe address their issues and also talk a bit of politics. And sometimes some of the statements that they make in the pulpit are really not, they're not godly per se, and they're used to attack and maybe glorify the demon. For instance, when a politician stands on the pulpit and begins attacking negatively another politician or other people, or even, kind of, how do you call it? Fanning feuds and also creating crisis in the pulpit. What is it so hard for churches to be able to maybe regulate or, just put a stop to politics at the pulpit? What's making the churches not do that?
Bishop have just said that there are regulations. But now we are humans. You see, you can invite a politicians or politicians. They come in, you give them the platform. But at times you cannot be sure what somebody, when somebody stands up, when his time to speak comes, you cannot be sure what he or she is going to utter. So some of these things, we cannot necessarily say that we defend or we agree with all the things that are being said in these platforms, but we are also found unawares, just like any other person. The only thing that now we should do is to identify, if we have identified that this group or these particular persons, they are of this, they don't go according to the regulation of the church. I believe that we should just come out boldly and to say no. Yeah.
But for I've never seen an instance whereby after political leaders spoken and have incited people, have said all negative things, I've never seen a religious leader stand up and after he has spoken and said, confront the politician and say, what you've said is not right, and I feel such statements are not associated to our church. What makes religious leaders not stand out boldly and just condemn, right before their face?
That's why I want to say, one, it can be ignorance. Alafu, second, lack of boldness. Some servants of God, they just become fearful, and because of maybe what they have gotten, some, I'm not saying all, because of what the handouts or maybe what they have gotten from these leaders, muzzle their mouth that they cannot speak. Yeah.
Bishop, what do you make of this?
I've said somehow, accountability is very important. And also spelling out the expectation of the church before a leader speaks is very important.
Sure.
That, sir, we are welcoming you on our podium tonight, and know this and this and this is essential. This one is a holy place of the kingdom of God, but because we have given you the leeway of a leader, please stick to this parameters. It's very important, because I do not need just to welcome you on board without giving you the expectations. I need to tell you the expectation. So even if you will go outside the expectation, my congregation will understand this man here is just a riot. He's just a riot. He doesn't want to stick to the norm of the day. So number two, it also depends with the setting of the church. You see, they are holy of holies that we do not allow somebody to stand and do that. There's whereby my members sit. So we need also to check on that when we are doing the accusation statement, because some of my elite newsmen do not have the proper information of the settings. They mix it at a go. But you see, when a visitor comes and I know he's a politician, there are places where I do not allow him to step. I tell him this is where you're going to stand. And when you speak it, also understand you are behind or you are in front of this particular holy of holies. So don't go beyond of that one. So accountability is very important, sir. And then number two, the setting of the church is very important. I've seen some other churches have got a place outside the church arena whereby somebody is able to speak from. So you cannot say he spoke from the church. No, he spoke from the compound. That should be the issue now.
All right.
Yeah.
Next, into another conversation is church leaders and political formation. Now we've seen scenarios whereby church leaders have also been part and parcel of political formations, either as political aspirants and also sitting in the board of it could be a community board that is politically affiliated. Do you think somehow it compromises their image as a religious leader, and again at the same time they need to also serve the community on a different capacity? Don't you think it compromises the image?
On my side, I don't see it compromising, because if a pastor can be in a sitting and his will and intent is to change the course of the happenings for the betterment of the people, I can easily advocate for that. Because many things have gone a wrong way because we do not have people who can speak it out. But you as a spiritual leader, you are in the forum and you can understand. I can easily tell you where I am, where my church is. You'll see now we are having a Mama Wahoo Road totally tarmacked. I was in the sitting whereby I gave my own view on behalf of the community. I told them, number one, security of my people comes first. That road should come with pumps and enough of them. Number two, the communication lines should be well installed. You see, if I am in that particular sitting, although we have got politicians and other men, I've got the capacity to lead the way and show them this is the way to go. But it will be unfair now to agree on what you are saying. I am in the sitting. Things are going wrong. I'm not correcting. And then the whole community is watching. That's where the mess comes from.
But Bishop, I'll not mention names, but you've seen a scenario whereby someone is a bishop of a church and still wade so much into the murky waters of politics to a point people no longer see you as a bishop. They see you as something else. Because now you've diverged so much of yourself into politics, and you know how dirty politics can turn out to be. Don't you think somehow it tarnishes, your stand and your general, how can I put it? What makes you, or what makes you stand out there as a man of God?
It does. It does when you join the wrong team. And support the wrong team.
So who is the wrong team? Where's the wrong team?
The wrong team is the very, very person you say is a muggy sittings. Those are the wrong team. You because conclusively, you as a leader in the sitting, it should not water down your image and the image of the church. But when it goes to a level whereby it has watered the two, then you need not to be in that particular sitting. So, sir, in a short statement, it is the leadership of the church should not run away from politics. But when they are present, let them lead the way, because we cannot separate the two, the politics and the church. They go hand in hand, although on different lenses. Yeah. So they need to be corrected where necessity is. Exactly. And somehow I can easily say the church has also failed. We can easily say that because the forum that we are given, we are not utilizing the forum. No, we are not utilizing the forum. Or the people who, you see, the people who have got the zeal for the church are not the very people who are representing the church.
The church.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pastor Nation, what do you make of such? You're a church leader and also running a political formation, or you want to become an aspirant, or you are part of a political party. What do you make of that?
My personal view is that there should be a demarcation between spiritual leadership and the civic leadership, whereby let us let us remain to the pulpit, whereas we be at a position whereby we check the civic leadership and the state. Because the state or the political arena should not dictate what will be happening in the church. Hallelujah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Amen. Just proceed.
It is well.
Well,
yes.
Amen.
yes.
But so there should be separation. And because as a leader, I should check the civic leadership because I am as a watchman. Yeah, I must be able to see the ills, the wrongs, and even where they are doing good, even to
recommend.
To recommend. So in my own view, we should be at a position. You see, you cannot critique or you cannot criticize the ills of the government or the ills of the state if you are dining with them on one table at all times. So to me, that's what I think.
All right. Another important question that I need to ask both of you is that, each of you have a following, you have faithfuls. And sometimes in terms of social structure, not all of them are the same. There are those who are socially well, there are those who are socially underprivileged. What is the church doing to be able to, fight poverty and try to bring at least their faithfuls to some common, sort of empowerment, kind of? What is your church doing, or what's the church doing generally to be able to fight poverty, as society? Yes, Pastor. Or should I pass it to Bishop? Bishop, what is the
The time has come when the church should stand out and understand there is no any other job market apart from them being the market. For example, if I've got youth in my church, they need to utilize the number of my congregation and prepare samosas and get that money that afternoon. The women can prepare a tea to serve that congregation. So that the money that the congregation is having is used within us before it exists. Number two, apart from the Sunday services, we as a church, we need to understand that Jesus himself was an entrepreneur. He had the entrepreneurial mind. And that's why when the parents came to pick him, he told them, can't you understand? I am in my father's house and business. I'm in my father's business and house. So there has been a low morale of understanding that church and business can never be separated. Of course, to elevate our own from poverty is now being the very people who will lead and start projects. Schools should be established by the church. Production section should be established by the church. Justice institution should be established by the church. And also, transport system should be established by what? By the church. Because those are the sources of finances that we cannot wish away. So, as much as we pray and lay hands, my brother, on our faithful ones, that how I pray, go and may the Lord open a door for Job. You are failing, and I am also failing.
Sure.
Now, Bishop, I get your points, but talking in the basis of business.
Yes.
And you've mentioned some of the steps that the church can undertake to be able to relate their people, and also some of the ventures that the church can undertake to be able to, add more proceeds instead of maybe burdening the faithful with the sadaka, tithes and everything. Don't you think if we go too much of that direction, then the church will lose its meaning from a place of holiness or and shifting it to now a business enterprise, because now, for instance, we have churches that they run banks. They also run schools. At the same church runs other major businesses elsewhere. Does this make it shift from what its primary purpose should be?
No. Go ye into the world and make disciples. You can't go when you have got no means of getting you there. So the schools are the means. Hospitals are the means. Business are the means to send. You see, we are the ones who are delaying the coming of Jesus Christ. Because he says, when we reach the end of the world, then the end shall do what? Shall come. So, and it is by elevating poverty through the many avenues
that exists.
All
right.
Yeah.
Pastor, what can you add on what Bishop has just said with regards to evaluation of poverty in churches?
We should teach our youths on a technical field or technical, how can I put it? Technical adventures. Like you see, the society have been wired in a way that people just want white-collar jobs. Yeah, to be seated in offices. And in our recent time, mostly young people, they want to do something to do with hii mambo ya mtandao. How do we call it in English? IT.
IT,
yeah. So we need to also to encourage our youths that these technical courses like plumbing, artisans, art, these ones can also give us
something,
income.
Yeah.
You see, so we encourage them. And we should also be at a position whereby we are not just laying hands, just as the servant of God has said, but when we identify that this one is not capable, we should even organize for them, let's say, we help them to raise money for such like courses. And I believe this one will help the society.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what are your churches doing individually as far as community response is concerned? I'll start with Pastor Nashon. What are your churches doing in terms of community response?
Community response as in?
In terms of, like, let me say, a community is facing a challenge and it needs some probably of a support. What sort of response do your church do as part of support, as part of giving that community response?
Response.
Yes.
Can you be in particular?
In particular, let me make the question a little bit simple.
Yes.
Has, like, for example, in a society, a church being part and parcel of a society,
Sure.
and the community is always faced with challenges here and
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Now, has your church participated in any community response activity?
Yes, we have. There was a time that where I stayed, there was rampant mugging. So, and we found that some border guys were involved. So we organized evangelization weeks to meet them. And preparing, let's say, breakfast, prayer breakfast. Yeah. And we call them together, we preach to them, and we tell them the need to come out from that vice and to do some other meaningful activities.
So, Daktari, what has your church done as far as community response is concerned?
I think this is the area that we sail in almost like 75%.
Okay.
Number one, the issue about the health. We have invited friends on local and on the international level, whereby they come and serve my community and our community, because health is very, very essential. It's only like 2 weeks ago when I was hosting the medics in my church, to come and just do the general medical observation. So that's what we've done. Number two, we have got the camps for the young people, whereby we are able to bring together young people and then work alongside the talents that they are having and then bring them to a recognition level. Security, he's spoken about it. And for me, now the area that we live is far better. I came in that area like 10 plus years, and security was also a great concern. But now it is an issue of past. Yesterday, I was from town at midnight. I had missions to do, but I arrived late. I just walked along the roads. Sita usiku. That means that security has come. Now, for proper response and also nurturing. You see, the proper response and nurturing response. How do you, proper response, that these ones like security and a medical camp, but nurturing response are very important, whereby we as churches, we need to have nurturing responses like institutions like schools, whereby we are now having our children in the streets because of morals and ethics. When a church has got a school, you will bring up children of integrity. You will have changed a generation. That one is a transformational kind of response.
Now, back to that before we come to our general conclusion questions. Looking at the communities that we come from, both Pastor Nation at Kabiria, because I've been there before, and also Bishop here in Ngando. There is a lot of moral decay amongst young people, like in terms of early teenage pregnancy. It's really rampant, So many young men are into drugs, and we have churches planted in the same vicinity. Yeah. Now, what in your capacity as a church have you been able to do or trying to do to be able to at least, I know we cannot fully do away with it, but at least just to, try to moderate what's already in existence? Pastor Nation.
Okay, let me speak of our church. We came up with the programs like programs that involves the youth, like music extravaganzas, where they come in, they display their talents in singing, and let's say generally in art. So when they come, that is like it is like a net. So when they come, so we also now tell them about Christ and also advise them to come out of those vices.
But Pastor, before you proceed, these things have always been there. The music extravaganza, talent search, the same vices still continues. What are you doing different? Because, this is the same old norms that have existed before.
What we are doing different?
Yes, sir.
At personal level, as a servant of God,
yes, sure.
When I identify maybe 2 young men or 3 that are in a specific kind of vice, I take my own time to visit with them, and I give them a shoulder to lean on. I speak to them, I show them love personally. And I've seen 2 young men who are like gangsters. One of them even confessed to me that, I didn't have anybody to speak to me at a personal level. So I believe if we can speak to these people that we consider rejects in the society, we just reach them on personal basis. Maybe you can even, if you find a young man that maybe doesn't have what, you start with even the physical things. And I'm talking of something which I've done. So out of that, you can get 2 or 3 which will change completely from bad behaviors.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Daktari Ngando is, I would say, it's a hot. Is it a hot spot or a hotbed? And you exist as an institution, as a church, as an institution. What are you doing within your capacity to be able to at least bring some size to what we are seeing?
Thank you so much, sir. You have said that this kind of vices have been there longer than enough. And the main gray area that brings up such kind of ideas and as kind of characters, it is because we do not have people who are able to give back to the society. Giving back is that anybody who studied at Ngong Road Primary School in Ngando, not all of them are evil people. There are people who have succeeded in life. So, second of people who have succeeded in life, they are the very people who need to give back to the community and come and stand to the parameter and say, this one is my community, I will rectify it. So these young people do not have mentors. So either strangers like we, when we come in, we are correcting from a point of unknown. But these people have been here and they can easily say, this is where the rain started beating us. So, sir, anywhere, even in this country, even where our listeners are listening from, if we have got people who are able to give back to the communities where they came from, they are the game changers.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And at least for your church, you are doing something about
it. Yeah,
it.
we are doing something about it. Now, we have got what you call the young mothers. Okay. The young mothers. We've got a forum whereby some of them, they go back to school. Some of them, they are trained on the skills to keep on running. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, last question before you give us your parting shots in front of our cameras.
Yeah.
We are tracing back to our initial conversation about the Gen Z revolt and where that has seen where we are at the moment, you know. Now, my question is, given that we represent different faithfuls, churches to speak, what is your church, Pastor Nation, doing to be able to bring that, to regain that trust that the young people lost in church, to pull them back to Christ and to pull them back to church? What is your church doing to be able to, bring them back and reinstall the lost, can I say lost glory or, what are you people doing over there?
So, you see, youths, young adults, one time they were infants and they were young, they were tender. So we saw it wise and we have begun sending our Sunday school teachers for proper training. That's what we are doing as a church.
Okay.
And now we are not taking the whole, we are not seeing the Sunday school the way we used to see it before. Now we are dividing the groups according to their ages, that now education will be effective, that when they will reach even to young adults will be separated from the young ones. So now we are sending Sunday school teachers to learn even in Bible colleges. And we are doing that separation.
Okay.
Because you can see, you see why the Muslim counterparts, they are doing well. And you find that this madrasa thing, it is mandatory. Yeah, it is mandatory. It is a must. And when it is weekend, all children, they go to that. Even I see them even using whips to, So in regard to that, we are also trying now to putting more emphasis on the basic Christian or the primary Christian life into them.
All right. Thank you. Bishop, what's your church doing to regain that confidence of the young people back to church?
It is watching from their viewpoint. You need to understand, how do they look at things now?
That's true.
Because if it is a worship Sunday,
That's true.
how does my youth look at our worship Sunday? It might not be the way I look at it.
That's true.
So when I put on their lenses, then I'm able to redeem them from losing them.
Okay.
Right now,
Yes.
a church that doesn't have an internet is going to be left behind.
Sure.
Currently, there's an issue about AI. We pastors, we need also to know what is this meaning of this AI,
True. True.
so that we are on the heels of these young people. Otherwise, we shall blame another person on our way, while we are failing to watch and also listen from where they are watching from and from where they are listening from. No more sitting of musical extravaganza should never be the same it had been 20 years ago. No. They should be given opportunity to air out their own challenges and give them opportunity to give solutions, because they have a solution. This thing that we are seeing in the streets is only that we are not giving them an opportunity. We are not listening, and we are not putting their lenses. When they bring an issue to us, we do not see how they look at things. We see them from our own perspective. So my church is seriously trying to put on the lenses of my young people, so that I'm having capacity to know and feel their feel. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. And I feel you've given me a topic for the next session, that is the church and technology.
Yeah.
I'll be delighted to have you people back on the bench.
Yeah.
Now, just as a summary, there's something that, just as we are concluding, there's something that you spoke about the Muslims, and it triggered a question in my mind. What is it that Christians are not getting right that the Muslims are getting right? Because if you look at how Muslims are serious with their faith, and vis-a-vis the Christians, which you people you lead, there is a bit of actually the difference is quite huge in terms of giving back and supporting, the needy, in terms of how they obey their, how do you call it? They obey their religion, and in terms of how they just carry themselves, the principle that they impart in themselves. What brings about the deprivation? What can you make of it, Pastor?
There is a word that you have used that has made me to not to be.
I'm saying what is bring about the deprivation, like the difference, kinda. Because Muslims seems to be, following their faith so much as opposed to the Christians, and you people being the Christian leaders. What do you make of this?
What I want to say that we Christians, we have become careless with our children or our young ones. We don't care much about. We don't care much about religion, growing religion. We would rather take them to best schools, best colleges. But now when it comes to this, to help them begin also in religion, we fail. So that's where the difference lies. But you find that our brothers, the Muslims, this is something that they put more emphasis on from early childhood. So now the religion, it is impacted, from early. But that's why we were speaking about our Sundays. There are no emphasis on it. You just go to church. You don't care who is going to teach your child. Yani we don't care much.
All right. Bishop, a closing remark with regards to the same?
Well, the same. It is that religion is a way of life. Christ and Christianity is a way of life. If we cannot live what we preach and speak, we shall continue having this problem forever. How I pray that there will be a segment of few who are going to live what they speak. Because you cannot differentiate religion with life. So religion is a way of life. So when we are preached on Sunday, we need to live that the whole week. But I'm telling you, the same preaching is left on the altar as people go in their normal way of life. True. So if we want to set the high-ranking expectation of our young people, let us live what we speak. And it goes beyond that, sir, that the way we eat, the way we put on, the way we communicate, the way we receive and also send out visitors, it is the key hold of how our young people are going to live.
All right. Now, both of you will face the camera and give us your parting shot. It has been quite an afternoon and just a closing parting shot. So you'll face the camera and just give us your parting shot. I'll start with Pastor Nashon. Just face the
As religious leaders, we must come to a point whereby we are not going to dine with the state or the civic leaders to the point whereby we compromise our Christian values. And we must be there as watchmen. God is appointing Ezekiel that he says that I appoint you a watchman to my people. If you warn them and they don't take heed to danger that is coming, their blood will be upon them and you will be safe. And if you warn them, and if you warn them, and if you don't warn them, and that danger comes and overtakes them and ruins them, their blood will be upon your head. So what am I trying to say as I finish is that we are at a position to speak about all the ills in the society, corruption, injustices, that the government may come clean. That's my parting shot.
All right, Bishop Daktari.
Thank you so much, my host. Responsibility can never be run away. We are responsible, we are accountable. Either you are a religious man or you are also a normal Kenyan citizen. Responsibility can never be wished away. What we are having right now, there are some of us who have run away from responsibility and accountability. Let us all stand out and be counted. Be responsible, be accountable on every arena of life and social life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for making it here this afternoon. It really has been an amazing conversation. And that is where we put the Siasa Cafe 3rd edition to a rest. It has been an amazing conversation. Until